The lecture hall on Proxima Station buzzed with the low hum of universal translators as Professor Zenter's crystalline appendages traced complex quantum equations across the holographic display. Anna sat in the third row, her worn ballpoint pen clicking rhythmically between her fingers, a nervous habit she'd never quite broken despite 3 years studying xenobiology among 17 different species. Beside her, David leaned back in his adaptive chair, his dark eyes following the equations with practiced ease. He was one of only 43 humans enrolled at the Galactic Consortium's most prestigious university, and like Anna, he'd quickly learned that humanity's recent admission to the galactic community came with considerable skepticism. The human specimens appeared distracted. Zenter's voice chimed through the translators, 4 of his 6 eyes rotating toward Anna and David. Perhaps the primitive nature of their mathematical development makes this lesson challenging. Anna's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. It was the third condescending comment that hour. The Galactic Consortium had only admitted Earth into their Federation 6 years ago, and many of the older species still viewed humans as barbaric newcomers, barely evolved primates playing at civilization. David whispered without moving his lips, a trick they'd perfected. "Don't let the crystal squid get to you." Anna smirked despite herself. The pen continued its rhythmic clicking. That's when the alarms began. The sound was unlike anything in human experience, a cascading frequency that bypassed the ears entirely and resonated directly with the fear centers of the brain. Around the lecture hall, students from species across the galaxy began their various panic responses. The Velcorin twins secreted defensive mucus. The Sarthian in the front row inflated its threat sacs. Even Professor Zenter's bioluminescence flared white with alarm. "Breach Protocol 7, the station's AI announced. "Hostile force detected. All personnel initiate lockdown procedures." The holographic displays flickered and died, replaced by security feeds. Anna's breath caught. Through the station's corridors they came, the Zarathi. Even among the galaxy's countless horrors, the Zarathi held a special place in the collective nightmares of civilized species. Hive-minded insectoids standing 9 feet tall, their exoskeletons could deflect plasma fire. Their neural acid could dissolve tritanium. They didn't conquer. They consumed, converting organic matter into more Zarathi soldiers. 17 civilizations had fallen to their swarms before the consortium had managed to contain them in the outer rim. And now, impossibly, they were here, on Proxima Station, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, flooding through breached airlocks. How? David breathed, watching the feeds as station security opened fire. Their weapons, sophisticated energy pulses that could vaporize tungsten, sparked harmlessly off Zarathi carapaces. The security forces lasted 37 seconds. Anna's mind raced through the xenobiology lectures, through every dissertation she'd absorbed on Zarathi physiology. The weakness was there. It had to be. Every species had one. The Velcorin couldn't process nitrogen. The Sarthians were vulnerable to subsonic frequencies. The Zarathi. The door to their lecture hall exploded inward. 4 Zarathi warriors poured through the gap, their compound eyes reflecting the emergency lights in thousands of tiny red points. Their mandibles clacked with a sound like breaking bones. The smell hit Anna immediately, sulfur and ammonia and something sweet that made her stomach lurch. Chaos erupted. Students scrambled toward the emergency exits, but 2 more Zarathi breached through the ventilation shafts, cutting off escape. Professor Zenter attempted to project a defensive hard-light barrier, but a stream of neural acid reduced his console and his forward appendages to smoking ruins. The Velcorin twins died first, dissolved into their component molecules before they could even scream. David grabbed Anna's arm. "Move now." But Anna stood frozen, her mind processing everything she knew about Zarathi anatomy. Their exoskeletons were molecular-bonded chitin reinforced with metallic compounds. Their neural systems were distributed, no single brain to target. Their sensory organs were redundant. They were, by every conventional measure, perfect killing machines. Conventional measure. A Zarathi warrior lunged toward a cluster of Sarthian students. Its claws, each one capable of shearing through hull plating, extended for the kill. Anna's hand tightened around her pen. It was a cheap thing, purchased from a vendor on Earth before she'd left for the stars. Black plastic casing, tungsten carbide ball, spring-loaded mechanism. It had cost her perhaps 2 credits. Their atmosphere, Anna whispered. What? David yanked her toward the back wall. David, their atmosphere. Zarathi evolved on a world with 1.7 standard atmospheres of pressure. They breathe a nitrogen-methane mix. Their exoskeletons are designed to maintain that pressure differential. Another student died, a Korthan whose crystalline body structure shattered under a Zarathi's crushing grip. Anna's pen clicked, once, twice. Anna, we have to. They're walking pressure vessels, Anna continued, her voice gaining certainty. Every opening in their exoskeleton, the spiracles they use for respiration, has to be regulated if you introduce a rapid decompression event. A Zarathi turned toward them. Its mandibles spread wide, revealing the neural acid sacs within. Anna moved. Humans, the Galactic Consortium had noted with academic interest, possessed remarkable fine motor control relative to their size. Evolution, as a hunter-gatherer species, had granted them precision that most spacefaring races, evolved from herd animals or aquatic filter feeders, simply couldn't match. Anna's throw was perfect. The pen, just a cheap ballpoint pen, flew across the lecture hall in a flat trajectory. It struck the Zarathi warrior's thorax spiracle, the primary respiratory opening protected by only a thin membrane. The pen's tungsten carbide tip, designed to write on paper, penetrated the membrane. For a microsecond, nothing happened. Then physics took over. The pressure differential between the Zarathi's internal atmosphere and the station's environment created an instantaneous decompression event. The spiracle ruptured. The exoskeleton, designed to contain high pressure, became a liability. Cracks spiderwebbed across the warrior's carapace. Its methane-rich internal atmosphere vented explosively, and where it mixed with the station's oxygen. The Zarathi exploded. Not with fire, with the force of catastrophic structural failure. Fragments of chitin became shrapnel, and each fragment struck another Zarathi warrior with enough force to penetrate their spiracles. The chain reaction took 4.7 seconds. One Zarathi detonated, its remains creating a pressure wave that compromised the spiracles of 2 more. Those 2 exploded, their fragments hitting the remaining warriors. The hive mind, so effective at coordinating attacks, became their downfall. They clustered together, making each explosion more devastating to the survivors. By the 5th second, the lecture hall was silent except for the hiss of venting atmosphere and the drip of alien ichor. Anna stood in the same spot, her hand still extended from the throw, staring at the carnage. 6 Zarathi warriors, creatures that had destroyed civilizations, reduced to fragments by a plastic pen. David's jaw hung open. Did you just? Basic xenobiology, Anna said quietly. She was shaking now, adrenaline catching up with action. They never evolved to handle rapid decompression. Their armor works against them. Professor Zenter, nursing his damaged appendages, stared at Anna with all 6 eyes. Around the lecture hall, the surviving students emerged from their hiding places, looking between the human girl and the destroyed warriors with something approaching awe. The station's AI crackled to life. Threat neutralized. Security teams have implemented defensive protocols based on. The AI seemed confused. Based on pen-related trauma. David laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. You killed an alien army with a pen, Anna. Anna retrieved what remained of her writing implement from the debris. The plastic casing was cracked, the spring mechanism bent. It would never write again. Humans, Professor Zenter said slowly, are perhaps less primitive than the consortium assumed. Anna met his crystalline gaze. We don't have exoskeletons or acid or natural armor, Professor, so we learn to think, to observe, to find the weakness. She held up the broken pen, and to use whatever tools we have. In the days that followed, Anna's action rippled through the galactic consortium. The Zarathi threat on Proxima Station was eliminated using her method, small, high-velocity projectiles targeting spiracles. Humanity's status shifted from tolerated newcomers to valued members. After all, any species that could weaponize office supplies deserved respect. But Anna never forgot that moment in the lecture hall, when a cheap ballpoint pen proved more effective than plasma cannons. It was the most human thing imaginable, taking something ordinary and making it extraordinary. Making it enough.